strip searches. 5-4 ruling is that the police or federal agents, the TSA or whomever, are allowed to strip search anybody without probable cause of anything. So it has gone too far, way too far. I think another bill that we ought to repeal that's been on the books just 12 years, and that is the Patriot Act.
Yeah!
Another law that they passed was dealing with the Secret Service. If an individual has Secret Service protection, anybody that gets nearby and demonstrates within so many feet of this special person that is protected by the Secret Service can end up, just by demonstrating or saying something or holding up a sign, they can get 10 years in prison. I think they need a new education about what the First Amendment means. That's for sure. The National Security Agency now has just opened the construction of a new facility in Utah. It's the biggest in the history of the world. It's made up all of computers. It's supposed to be able to hold not billions of information of everything they can find. Emails, websites, telephone calls, mail, everything. And it holds trillions and trillions of dollars of items of information. And they're in the process of building this. Why do they need to know so much about us? We need to know more about them.
Yeah! Get rid of them!
In a free society, the government is not secret. In a free society, the people have their privacy. But today, there's too much secrecy and we've lost too much of our privacy. And we could start, if we want more transparency, let's start with the Federal Reserve and find out.
Yeah!
Such an idea. It's a great idea.
Throw him in jail!
The Fed's going to end itself because it's a self-destructive course. It can't last. And we're nearing that. And that's why we're in so much trouble right now. People are recognizing it. I think that's part of the reasons why the people are coming out now. Because we're recognizing that we're not a productive nation. We're running on debt. And we borrow money. We can't borrow much more. Our ratings are going down. And there's a limit to how much we can print. And we're at this stage where we don't produce and we can't continue this. So this is the reason we have an economic crisis. This is why they're fighting in Washington. They're not fighting over policy. They all believe in going to war.
Yeah.
And they all believe
keep the wars going.
They all believe in the entitlement system. But what they argue about is whose friends get nailed out, who has the power, and who's going to control the shrinking pie. And this is what they fight about.
This guy's a freaking genius.
This is why they don't even bring a budget.
Nobody listens to him.
Have a serious discussion about a budget because they have no way of solving the problem.
But you know what I mean.
It's not strictly a budgetary problem.
80% of the population is just brain dead.
Problem is what
Fortunately. It's got a wonderful party. It's not going to get the money. I hope it would, but it's not.
That's why he took the Republicans so he could see if he could bypass it.
If you have a philosophy of government, this is the government should be there. It should be strictly limited by the rule of law.
But Romney's going to get the nomination. He's got to run a third party, but it's our only hope, because Romney and Obama are the same person. You know, people say, well, he'll get Obama, but whatever.
This past century.
They're the same anyway.
Without an income tax. That's the kind of... We have the subtle and blatant endorsement of the entitlement system and us being the policemen of the world. We can't do it. We can't continue. All nations who embark on world empires always fail, not because they get attacked. militarily, but
from
because they
within.
attack themselves domestically with the destruction of their currency and the destruction of their economy. Spending overseas is very important. Not only is the foreign policy important because it's so deadly, other people in other countries die from what our policies are, our people die and get wounded in all those tragic events, and but it's also a big economic issue. The last 10 years is essentially $4 trillion added to our national debt for the wars that we've fought. Does anybody in this country, can they get up and explain on TV in a short way, why are we in Afghanistan? Why are we in Iraq? Why are we in Pakistan?
War on terror!
There's no good reason. They can give you a few bad reasons and a lot of bad reasons and untruthful reasons when they build up the war fever and get the people to endorse in the Congress to vote
the war
for
drums.
This. But right now, the war fever is beating the drums for a move not to get those troops home, but they're beating the war drums to go into Syria. Which
let's straighten them out.
And of course, are they willing to talk to and work with?
No.
Maybe work something out?
No, it's easier to bomb them.
They want to march in and start bombing Iran.
Yeah.
These are very bad ideas, and the American people are now on our side because about 77% of the American people said, get out of Afghanistan and bring these troops in. We have this major undertaking of changing the people's ideas about the role of government. Should we be the policeman of the world? Should we have the entitlement system? The entitlement system is motivated by a lot of good intention, but good intentions aren't necessarily good intentions. Sometimes they're distorted, they might be well-meaning, but the entitlement system really doesn't work. I am convinced that if you have concern about your fellow man, which I believe most people do, I believe that if you have humanitarian instincts, you don't want to see people starving in the streets, that the only solution, the only political solution to that is to have a free society and a prosperous society, and you will be able to take care of those problems much better than any other system available to us. The entitlement system is obviously sold on, well, there's always the poor, and we have to take care of the poor. We don't want anybody not to have a house, not to have free medical care, not to have free education. And, okay, that's right, there's some that are always needed. But, you know, if you subsidize something, you get a lot more of it. But it never solves the problem. Take the housing efforts. It's been going on for a long time, especially before the housing bubble collapsed. The whole idea was to make sure that everybody could afford a house. So they create money out of thin air, and then they have government informative programs that say you can't deny anybody a loan, make bad loans, just give everybody a house.
Just give them a loan.
And it seemed to be so wonderful because people would get their houses and the value of the house would go up and they'd borrow more money. And it would look like a cash cow. But that was supposed to help the poor people. But who made the money when the bubble was being blown up? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, insurance companies, the railroad companies, globalists, the Goldman Sachs of the world, they were making all this money. And then when the predictable bubble burst and there was a collapse, what happened? Oh yes, there was hollering and screaming, something has to come, Congress has to bail them out. But who got bailed out? The wealthy, the people who made all the money off the system. They got trillions of dollars of bailout, both from the Congress as well as from the Federal Reserve. So what happened to the people that were supposed to be helped with the entitlement system? They lost their jobs and they lost their houses. This system, when they tell you that it's our foreign policy is to spread democracy and make peace in the world, or the entitlement system is supposed to help the poor and bring them prosperity, exactly the opposite occurs. It's the same way when you call something the Patriot Act, it's unpatriotic. does not work, and it's very biased and slanted. Now, this system is very unfair, because if you undermine the value of the currency, if you just separate that from everything else, if you undermine the value of the currency, you just print more, dilute the value of the money, there is a systematic transfer of wealth from the middle class to the wealthy. Because the wealthy, the banks and the government and the big corporations, they use the money first. Then it circulates, especially through fractional reserve banking, and each unit goes down in value and your prices go up. So there's always a transfer of wealth. You get to use the money first. But it's much worse when the government, makes these contracts. But the wealthy, that group of people, and sometimes it's referred to the 99 and 1, and say, well, at 1%, they're the evil monsters and all. But I break the 1% or the 2%, I break them in two sections. One, the honest people who made money by providing a good product for us, and we made them wealthy. And we should separate that from the people who made money because they had the contracts and all the benefits, from the Federal Reserve, and they got the bailout. There's a big difference. So that is the reason that the simple solution for this is no more bailouts. What we need is a lot more confidence in ourselves and understanding the free market system. When the Depression hit, there was a change philosophically. It was the Keynesian interventionist economic system that took over. So the spin then was, as it continues today, is that we had the Depression because we had capitalism and we had the gold standard. And this was untrue, and they got the blame, and that ushered in the big age of Keynesian economics. Today they're doing the same thing. They claim it was the unregulated free markets that gave us this. But the many problems, whether it was the Fannie Mae's and the Freddie Mac's and the intervention and the Federal Reserve, those aren't free markets. Free markets require people to work hard and save money and put it in the bank, and the interest rate is regulated by the marketplace. That's why it's important to blame the right problems. In 1920, we had a bad depression, but we kept our hands off mistakes made by the manipulation of money and credit during World War I. But the motivation to bail out anybody in 1920, 21 wasn't there. It was over the year, and we don't even really study that in history anymore, because we liquidated, got rid of the mistakes and get rid of the debt, and we went back to working again. It'd be best to have a system that you don't even build these mistakes in. But if you have them, you have to get rid of the debt. Just like if one of us gets into bankruptcy, you either have to get another job and sell off your goods or go to bankruptcy, but you've got to get rid of all the mistakes that are made. But today, what have we done? We've just brought them up now for five years. We're trying to keep, in spite of the housing prices going down, there's an effort to get housing stimulated. Build more houses and keep the prices up. Now, you want government interference out of the way. The marketplace works. That's why we were a great and wealthy nation, because we did have confidence in ourselves. But even the marketplace, whether it's the market or civil liberties or foreign policy, it is based on that fundamental fact about what is individual liberty all about. Liberty, for me, comes to us in a natural or God-given way. It doesn't come from our government. The government there is to protect the liberty and not do the opposite. It's to give us, in our Constitution, it's to give us a sound currency. But
President Paul! President Paul! President Paul! President Paul! President Paul! President Paul! President Paul!
another law that they passed was dealing with the Secret Service. If an individual has Secret Service protection, anybody that gets nearby and demonstrates within so many feet, anything, are. I think another bill that we ought to repeal that's been on the books just 12 years, and that is the Patriot Act. And the courts have not been helpful. This very week, the Supreme Court ruled on a bill about strip searches. 5-4 ruling and said the police or federal agents, the TSA or whomever, are allowed to strip search anybody without probable cause of this special person that is protected by the Secret Service can end up, just by demonstrating or saying something or holding up a sign, they can get 10 years in prison. I think they need a new education about what the First Amendment means.